Hey everybody, I'm Christy Wilhelmi from Garden Nerd. This is the time of year when your tomatoes are just starting to ripen, and I don't know about you, but it's also when the rats and other critters start to steal them from the garden right before they're ready to pick. Now, I have a hack for how to solve this problem. Now, this is, of course, after you've done all the other things like putting up rat traps, protecting your crops with bird netting or floating row cover or cages or whatever it is that you feel like you need to do to protect your crops. But let's say none of that is working, or it's only working a little bit, or it's working mostly, but you still want to capture all the tomatoes coming in from your garden. This is going to help you do that. First things first, let's talk about how tomatoes grow. They start out green, obviously, and you'll see that when they're green like this, you don't want to pick them. But the second they start turning a color, they're ready to be picked and brought inside. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Commercial tomatoes are grown and picked green, and then they're ripened artificially using ethane gas. That's not what we're doing here. That's a process that makes a really firm, kind of tasteless tomato that is safe for travel. We are ripening our tomatoes to a soft, beautiful, ripened, naturally ripened state that's going to taste just as good as if you were able to leave it on the vine and pick it fresh. Okay? So the key thing is, though, it has to start turning colors, because once it starts turning colors, it's on a trajectory to maturity. So you can bring it in to the house and do this next step. Now, I just want to point out, some of my tomatoes have been nibbled on. That's okay. It's going to scar over. If you pick it soon enough after it's been damaged, it'll scar over and it won't rot. So it's going to scar over. I've got a couple little nibbly bits here you can see on this tomato, but that's okay. They've scarred over, they're firm, and I can now proceed with the next step of this. This tomato started cracking, and I wanted to make sure it didn't crack anymore, so I brought it in even though it's not quite ripe. So here's the trick. You can wrap tomatoes in newspaper or put them in a paper bag. The paper bag will, close them in with themselves, and they're going to produce some ethane gas, and that's going to ripen them on their own, but slowly and over the period of a few days, not all at once. Now, I've got a couple of tomatoes in here that I've had in here for a few days, and I want to show you what they look like. They're really ready to go. So let's start with this guy. First of all, no, this one. This guy is a totally beautiful color, completely ripe. I can feel it give a little under my thumb, and it has golden shoulders. That's the type of tomato it is. And you can see there are a couple of little nibble marks on here, but it ripened perfectly well. And I can just cut this part off and then use the rest as I want. This tomato also, it's still a little pale on the bottom. I might leave it in there for another day or so. It has a couple of nibble marks on it, but still, I get this tomato all to myself. Yay! So that's all you have to do, is just take your tomatoes, put them in a paper bag, leave them on the counter, and fold them up over themselves so it seals it in. And then come back and check after a couple of days, and they're going to be ready to use. That's it. That's the hack. If you like this video, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to find out when our next video comes online. Consider becoming a Patreon subscriber to support all the free stuff that we do here at Garden Nerd, and you're going to find a ton more information about growing food and preserving it and cooking it in the kitchen in my book, Gardening for Geeks. You'll also find information about growing fruit, which tomatoes technically are, but we're not calling them that for right now, and grow your own mini fruit garden. And check out my novel, Garden Variety, for a really fun story set in a community garden in Los Angeles. Happy gardening!